All right, welcome back. Episode 4 of Over the Line. The boys are back again. It is rivalry week for me and AJ. We are sworn enemies for next Sunday. So I'm sure next week's show will be full of fireworks no matter how that game turns out. But we'll actually start with the Steelers. They had the Battle of Philadelphia. I thought they looked really good for most of the game, and I wasn't going to come on here and say anything bad about them. But the fact that they kind of let Wentz pick them apart in the second half of that game, like I said, we have good players on our defense. We have 3 good corners. Minkah Fitzpatrick and Joe Hayden are both elite at pass coverage. Hilton is a great blitzing defensive back. He's not great in coverage, so he's kind of the one that got picked on a lot yesterday. But the 3 of them should form quite a good secondary. We just give up too many easy plays. I think we play like a soft zone, and we're just kind of letting them. I mean, 3rd and 15s, just giving those up regularly. Probably they were probably 5 for 5 on 3rd and long, like 3rd and over 10. So I wasn't liking what I was seeing from our defense there, but defensive line played great as always. We stuffed the run. I think besides the run we gave up to Miles Sanders, that was a like 74-yarder. We only gave up 94 total rush yards for the game. So other than that one play where he snuck out, we were really pretty much locked down in the run game. So I was impressed with that. We didn't run the ball as effectively. It was okay. We had a decent balance of the run, but Big Ben really shined yesterday. But Chase Claypool obviously was the star of the day. Deontay Johnson got hurt, has a back injury. He was out for the game.
Your boy.
So, yeah, that is my boy, and I started him again in fantasy, which we will get to later on in the show, because trust me, I have some words about that. But he goes out with a back injury. And
on a hustle play.
Exactly. He was really trying to make it work.
Effort, -1 yard play.
Oh, yeah. And, I'm going to refrain from going off. I'm going to save Deontay Johnson for a week. I'm going to let it slide. That was a dumb fucking play. That's all I'll say.
So fucking stupid.
But Claypool got in, and he got the targets that would usually go to Deontay Johnson. They must have had Juju very well covered, because he was having a really ineffective day in the pass game. He was run blocking well, and he did end up, having some catches. But it was the Chase Claypool.
Well, he's the number 2 now anyway.
Yep. Well, after yesterday, he's
officially
the
number 2.
I got a Claypool jersey in the mail on the way.
Do you really?
Hines Ward jersey behind me.
Yep.
The Steelers just can't miss on receiver selections. Even Deontay Johnson, when he is good, he's really talented. And Claypool, I think, was an absolute hit. We got him in the 2nd round. And, we just don't spend those high draft picks, but we still get a lot of production out of them. So I'm loving what I'm seeing from him.
Did Deontay Johnson play football at any level before he got to the Steelers?
No.
Yeah,
CFL, maybe?
I'm pretty sure they just – CFL, yeah.
Yeah, he was like the guy sleeping outside the Browns stadium, except we actually signed him.
Yeah. Willie Snead, yeah.
Maybe he was a track runner, then we just said, you're going to play football now. That I would believe.
Bo Jackson-esque.
Yeah, he has – no, I'm not going to go that far, actually. But I was really impressed with the Eagles' defensive line. I had no idea that they were so good. Like, they were attacking Ben constantly. They got some big boys up front.
Eagles will probably end up they'll probably end up winning the NFC East at 6-9-1, and I don't think they're that terrible. Like Doug Peterson, he won a Super Bowl. He's a pretty good coach, I think. Wentz is so up and down, but they can randomly be as good as anybody. It seems like, or they can be terrible most of the time. So. Yeah. Any sort of win against them seems good. They're the best team in the NFC East besides the Giants. So I don't know.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's not saying much, though. So.
But no, AJ has a good point, though. Especially their receivers core was coming into this year as a big question mark. But then they had that Fulgham kid, that rookie yesterday. He stepped up big. I think he went 154 and a touchdown. He was all over the place.
He was abusing Mike Hilton.
Yeah, it's crazy. And they do have pieces that have been a good team. They were in the Super Bowl pretty recently, and they haven't lost a whole lot from that. As long as Wentz, you don't know which Wentz you're going to get, but I think it's a good win. I think we'll win the NFC East. So that's a division winner. Like you said, it's not saying much at the NFC East.
Yeah,
But-
I
A
think
win's
it's
a win.
Yeah, I
But
think it's a quality win. I do think
It's a
that
good win.
it was a hard-earned win, honestly, from a
Yeah.
team that really shouldn't have given us as much of a problem as it did. Like you pointed out, I believe last week, AJ, is the Steelers are just always the type of team to play down to their opponent
Yeah,
or play up
they
to their
do.
opponent.
Yeah.
And I think that was spot on this week. Like it really showed, because we are a much better football team than the Eagles. The Eagles have some pieces, and they have
I agree with that.
possibly a future there, but we are a much better football team all
Oh
around.
yeah, there's no doubt about that.
Our
Well, the thing
offense
that
is finally
sucks
starting to
about
click.
the Steelers for a Browns fan though is that they play up to their competition too.
Right.
If it's a Monday night game and they're playing against New England, like it'll be a close game. You know.
Yeah. Well, that's why I have a feeling.
And center.
I have a feeling the game this week, no matter what, will be a close game. The Browns-Steelers game. I think it will come down to the last couple drives.
I'm pretty excited, honestly, because it'll
Oh,
be a good
I'm-
gauge for
I'm
both
fucking
teams. It'll be a
juiced.
good.
I'm
It'll be a good
so hyped.
gauge for like how good are we actually. You know.
It'll be the Browns' first heat check since Washington.
Well, this
Exactly.
is like
You
a
gave her as
serious check kind of for both teams. For Pittsburgh,
Yeah.
it's more like, can you beat a team that you should beat, but they're a very talented team, and now you guys are rolling, and we're starting to we're still stumbling. We haven't really found which is crazy for an undefeated team. We're one of the 5 undefeated teams, and I think you guys could admit we haven't really fully hit our stride yet.
No, but that's perfect quintessential Steelers.
Right,
5-0
it-
looking terrible.
Yeah,
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 5-0 looking
that's-
terrible.
I would rather make it in as a wild card and be like, that team is so good. Like, there's no way they should have just been a wild card. That's the type of team I want. But
Yeah.
right now, where it's like,
You got a harder road, but yeah.
our
prove
division
yourself more.
is the best division in football by
Yeah,
far. It's
there's
the
no doubt
only
about that.
division that has 3 teams with 4 wins.
Right.
And the only division that's playing the NFC East. 2 of their 5.
That is true. Yeah. That helps.
I will not concede,
I'm just
although that is the fairest of points.
Oh yeah, for sure. I
But like
cannot
we
explain
said,
how
the
happy I
Eagles
am
are fake bad. They're like they kind of good, but they're like fake good as well.
Right. They're the anti-Colts. Like I feel like the Colts are terrible, kind of.
Well, that's what I've been saying. I said I don't think the Colts are good, but
No.
we'll touch on that later. We'll finish a couple things here. I was thinking as I'm watching the game, we weren't getting a lot of production until we started running those gadget sweeps with Claypool, and then we're using him as a decoy 50% of the time, and they would give it to Connor up the middle. We'd chunk him for 4 or 5 yards, and they would run the same exact play 5 or 6 times on the same drive, where they would just get him in a little tight end set and have Claypool just come as a jet sweep in motion. They'd either give it to him or give it to Connor, and we were picking up 5 to 10 yards on every carry with that.
And remind me real quick about James Conner. He
he beat cancer.
Oh, okay. All right.
And he is strong as an ox.
He actually didn't look terrible. He looked
No, he
pretty
didn't. No, he looked good. The reason I say our run game didn't look as good is because we had to run those gadget plays to get the necessary yards to set us up in, short and distance.
good. But would he be better or worse if he didn't have to beat cancer?
Worse because he's stronger from that.
That's right.
Yep.
That's
Connor
right.
Strong. I liked what I saw from Ben. He looked really good. I think that he's like in full swing. Maybe that week off helped him, but that scares me down the road of like, did he need a break after only 3 games? And now because he looked way better than he's looked in any of the other games. He had like a 89 passer rating. He was really efficient.
He could use a week off every other week.
Yeah, I think he definitely could use one.
The one thing that concerns me with older quarterbacks now, like Brady, Breeze, and kind of Roethlisberger, although Roethlisberger never showed this, but Brady and Breeze for sure, is games like 10 through 16, they can't throw the deep ball as well. Like their arms kind of run out of a little bit of juice. And I don't think that'll happen to Big Ben. Like he's always had a pretty big arm. And he's just bigger in nature too. He's probably a little stronger. So I don't think that'll happen, but it'll be interesting to see, if his arms can hold up.
I've been surprised at because you look at Tom Brady in comparison or Phillip Rivers because they're in the same
Rivers too.
they're in the same draft class. Rivers can't put any zip on the ball.
No, he can't. He really can't anymore. That pick six was so bad. It stayed in the air for so long.
Harrison had like 5 seconds to be like, oh shit, okay. And he just hopped up into it. You could see he literally jumps forward into it. It was just so free.
You guys, you forgot Eli Manning in that draft class. Just so you
know. Oh, that's true too.
Right. Another dead arm.
Never had zip. Everybody, he didn't lose it as he got on. He just never had it.
Yeah. Another dead arm.
His arm was
Manning that happened too.
But he's cerebral. He's a cerebral player. Ebron had a couple of plays that almost cost us the game. He had one that was called a fumble and then one they overturned. I didn't realize they overturned the fumble rule where you don't have to make like a significant football move because he caught that ball, didn't even take a third step. I admit that it seemed like he had pretty good control with his hands, but remember you used to have to make a football action, and he just like rotated his shoulders and the ball came out, called it a fumble. I don't know in past years if that would have been ruled a fumble. I think they were really exaggerating.
The second one there, I thought it would have been. They called that an interception.
Yeah, they called it an interception. I said, if anything, you would have thought it had been a fumble.
So that was bizarre to me because as soon as they said that, I was like, oh, it's overturned. And then I didn't even look at it again. So I didn't look to see if it was called a fumble, if it would have been any different on that one because as soon as they said interception, I just changed.
Yeah, he really didn't have possession of the ball on that one. But the officials were bad.
They called interception. I was like, yeah, everywhere.
Oh, that really the push off by Claypool that would have been a touchdown.
Yeah, that was not
so egregious.
He stopped on a comeback, and the other guy who had just come in on that play for an injury, it was basically like the old Aaron Rodgers thing. The guy comes in, he's like, all right, well, I'm going to pick on you. That's literally what happened. Ben threw right at him. Dude trips, falls, flies like 5 yards forward. Claypool would have just stepped over him like AI.
He literally walked into the end zone. He walked into the end zone. And they were like,
that was big, and that was kind of when the momentum in the end of that game started to shift a little bit.
Right,
and
the officials we can't let you have 5 touchdowns. You can only have 4.
Yeah, I mean, he had a monster day. Claimed him on the waiver wires in my fantasy league, and I got it. It did come through, so I will be able to pick up Chase Claypool. I'm pretty hyped about that.
And he's on the old McAfee show tomorrow.
Wow. Is he really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's huge.
Pat McAfee, friend of the show.
Yeah, everyone's tune into our good friend Pat
That's
McAfee's show tomorrow. If you guys haven't heard of it, he has a show on YouTube. It's pretty good. Similar type content. I don't know if he watches the show or not. But shout out Pat. He's a good friend. We'll have him on sometime soon. Yeah.
AJ, you golfed with him last week, didn't you?
Yeah, you have golfed with him a few times. He's a good friend.
He flew me out to the Keys, the Florida Keys down there. He flew me out. We played a couple rounds of golf.
Swapped a couple of freeways.
Yep.
So, like we mentioned, it's rivalry week. We have the Browns this week. I think what Pittsburgh needs to do to win this game is to load the box and force Baker to throw it. But our weakness, like I've told you the whole time, is our secondary. So it's going to be, if Baker's the real deal this year and their offense is the real deal, I think they're going to have to adjust that. And I think Baker will probably have to throw for over 300 yards to beat us.
Now, they had a pick six, like I said, but they put up 32 points on the best scoring defense in football, and they didn't even look very good.
But Colts are fake.
No, their defense is not.
It looked
well,
like
they're missing Darius Leonard yesterday.
They are, and he's their best player.
And he's their best defensive player. Yep. So take that with a grain of salt. But
that's kind of what they did too. Like the Browns didn't really run the ball all over them. I think they did get over 100 yards rushing. But
it was like 124 yards, but no,
but they didn't
just
really
use
crazy.
The run to set up the pass.
Yeah, and if Baker rolls out, I'm confident.
Yeah,
he's outside
I agree.
the pocket. I'm confident. Actually, he looked decent, but he was still overthrowing guys left and right.
Well, despite the 2 interceptions, I would say that was probably the best game he played up until that point. Like the first half was pretty much flawless for him.
Right.
He played really well. I thought he looked confident too. He was throwing well from the pocket. Like I thought he looked really good all around. They were rolling.
Yeah, no Chubb, no Teller either. Wyatt Teller went out in that game, and they still didn't miss a beat. Hollywood Higgins had a touchdown catch. So that's good to see. Because he's like a safety blanket for Baker. Yep. Hooper's looking better. They just have so many weapons, so many ways to go at you. Darius Johnson looked good again.
They got Jarvis going this week. That was big.
Jarvis,
He was kind of one of the only receivers that hadn't had like a breakout game. And I don't know if 4 catches, 88 yards for his standard is like a breakout game, but he looked really good to me. I thought for sure he was going to finish with like 100 plus and a
Yeah,
touchdown.
because he had about 60 in the first quarter.
Yeah, he looked like
Odell
that was
threw
going
a
to be.
pass, which is always fun.
It was a dime.
Yeah, he did drop a dime too.
Dude,
Yeah.
I said that last week. Remember we
Yeah.
were talking about after Jarvis
Yeah,
threw
yeah.
it? It's like I've seen Odell throw dimes now. I've seen Jarvis do it.
Yep.
And next week, Odell's just doing it again.
Just quarterback by committee in Cleveland, honestly.
Yeah, why not?
It might as
Why
well
not?
at this point.
Yeah.
And add Keenum into that committee.
Well, no.
What about Alex Smith?
Not anymore.
Ooh, Alex Smith on one leg.
Did he finish out
Bionic
that
leg,
game?
Alex Smith.
He not only finished that game, he came in on like the second drive and he finished with like 75 yards.
Wow.
The first play of the game, the first pass attempt of the game, he got destroyed.
Did he
And I
really?
was like, oh boy.
Was that
He
the sack
completed
by
the
Aaron
pass, too.
Donald?
Yep.
And Aaron Donald was on the sideline. He was like, that motherfucker's leg is strong. Did you see that clip?
No.
No, that's
He's
crazy.
sitting
he
on the
say that?
sideline. Yeah, he's sitting on the sideline. Camera literally captured him. He's like laughing. He's like, that motherfucker's leg is strong.
So how bad is Dwayne Haskins if he's being replaced by a man who hasn't played football in 2 years with one leg?
with one leg. And
Well, he, like you said, Chris, he was supposedly had the tummy ache or something. That's why he wasn't at the field. But he was demoted to third on the depth chart.
No, what his problem, his biggest characteristic flaw, is that he was a quarterback who played at Ohio State, and you'll never be good in the pros. You just won't be
never
good.
make it in the NFL.
Nope.
Unless
I
you
don't know what it
switch to
is.
like a hybrid wide receiver.
Yeah, unless you're
Well, yeah,
Braxton
you have to
Miller or
be
Terrell
like
But you
Pryor.
can't be a
Terrell
quarterback.
Pryor.
No,
Yeah.
you cannot be a
You
quarterback.
can be a
No.
quarterback coming out of Ohio State to
Yes.
not play quarterback at the next level.
Yes.
I agree with that. Yeah,
Then
if you're
it
coming to
might
play
work.
like slot receiver.
And you can
Yes.
be the best quarterback in college football and play at Ohio State.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
You can be the best quarterback in college football, play at Ohio State, and you will
Yeah, but
still
that doesn't. It won't translate.
I don't know why. Because it's not the
Never
same
works.
system as it used to be. Like Tressel couldn't. Troy Smith, he couldn't play in the pros. That was a completely different offense, and he still couldn't play in the pros.
He was
I don't get it.
so good in college too. But there's so many examples of that.
Yeah.
I've made this mistake with like 4 straight OSU quarterbacks. I do think Fields will be different. I don't know,
I know
something
it.
about
Yeah,
him.
I
But
know,
of
but
course, I say that and I'm like,
said
I've
the
been
same
wrong
thing
every
about
freaking time.
Haskins.
But he's
I would
different.
love for you to
He's
be
different
right.
than
I
Haskins,
think
though.
I
'Cause
think he's
Haskins-
a little different.
Going back to the athletic thing that we were talking about, Haskins just he never was. Like even in college, he never had, watching him in that pocket, it was like, okay, you get him out of that pocket, plays dead.
Yeah,
You
no,
know,
he's
like,
not
and
a
that's-
running quarterback. He's a
yeah.
Big Ben style quarterback.
And that's tough to do in today's NFL.
But he
It doesn't
still
work.
threw like 57 touchdown passes.
And you know why
Well, yeah,
I
'cause,
say
I mean, he had the best offensive line, probably, or one of the best offensive lines in college. He had all the
good
time in the world,
weapons.
and he had
Yeah.
unbelievable wide
Yeah.
receivers.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Running.
Well, he's
backs.
coming to Pittsburgh. That's the main thing. Is I think Pittsburgh's going to sign him, and
Yeah.
he's going to be our future after Big Ben departs, probably next year.
Well, they're
My
looking to
best friend
trade
at work
him.
is a big Steelers fan. He said the exact same thing.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, I believe that that's a possibility, and I like his skill set for us. I think that
But I
we
don't get
wouldn't
why
have to
I don't
change
get why
the
you would
offense.
sign him. I don't get why you would sign him when you still have such young talent like Charlie Batch and Mike Vick on the bench. Just waiting at their chance.
Right.
Well,
Number
I mean,
one, Mike Vick.
you want to get him around those kind of guys so they could mentor him and be like a leader on and off the field.
Slash.
Right. So speaking of slash, let's slash back to the Browns real quick. I thought that they looked good, like I said, for a large percentage of the game, but they just can't really learn how to hammer it home and finish the game.
Oh, but that'll come. I don't expect them to. They're still learning. They're still ass. They're still terrible. Like, it's the same guys.
Now I
It's the
don't know
same
if I
guys.
believe that.
They have to be. They're
Yeah,
the
but
Browns.
Stefanski's good.
Is he, though?
Yeah, he is. Maybe.
I hope he is.
What if he gets completely outclassed by the Steelers and it's like not even close, but we know the talent is there? Then
Right.
I'd be like, oh, whoa, what's going on here? Because I think that they have the talent to at least make it an extremely competitive game.
But that's what happened week 1 against the Ravens. I still think about that game because the Ravens
That was a preseason game.
yeah, that's true. And the
was a-
Ravens are kind of looking a little sus now. They're looking a little bit sus.
I mean,
in
the
their
Chiefs
form.
also just got blown by the fucking Las Vegas Raiders.
And watch out for them Raiders. Gruden, baby. 3-2.
And them
Josh Jacobs
Dolphins.
ground
Watch
and
out
pound,
for them
baby.
Dolphins.
Yeah, the Dolphins just fits magic, baby.
Yeah, well, Bowden
Dude.
magic.
We'll get to the Dolphins in a second because that's part of one
We'll
of my
get
takes.
to the Dolphins.
Okay, so, AJ, what do the Browns need to do to win this game against Pittsburgh?
Just don't get outside of who you are. Like, stay run first. If that doesn't work, play action them to death and play complementary defense. Like, 2 more turnovers. What was it? 2 more turnovers forced last week. That's good. They have the most in the NFL, most turnovers forced, and the most points off turnovers. Keep doing that. If Myles Garrett has at least a sack and a half, it's going to be a close game. Like, I've noticed when he gets a sack, it's usually at a pivotal time in the game. You know, like it's usually 3rd and 10 and he strip sacks, or 3rd and 10 and he sacks them for 10 yards and it's 4th and 20. Like, that's what he's known for. So just stay within yourself. And if really it's going to, I think with the next 3 or 4 weeks until we get Chubb back, it's going to be, can Baker be an average quarterback? If he can be average, if he can be the 15th best quarterback in the league, we probably won't lose a game. If he regresses.
I think you hit it right on the head there at the end, because I think my main thing is going to be for the Browns to win this game, they have to minimize the mistakes they make. You make too many mistakes against a veteran football team, veteran coached football team, leaders on the field that are veteran guys, they're going to close that game out. You can't you guys probably have to win the turnover margin to win that game.
Yeah, which I think we won it against the Colts because they had that grounding in the end zone for a safety. So I think it was 3-2. You're right, though. But I don't know. Is it Jacoby Brissett time in Indianapolis? I think it is.
It might be. I'm actually not even joking. I think that –
I know. I don't think he's terrible.
What did they sign Phillip Rivers for? Hopefully it wasn't like any actual money.
Just a 1 year.
Probably just get all of his kids through college. That's probably what's in the clause.
All right, so I say you bench him immediately and then just have him start to mentor Jacoby Brissett.
Oh, yeah.
Even though Jacoby Brissett's like 35 now.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, been backing up so many different people for like 15 years.
The oldest mentee ever.
I think I was listening to – so I didn't catch a lot of the Browns-Colts game because it was during the Giants game, but I was listening to something before the game, and Stefanski was talking about how, like, Odell is still – in his mind, he's the focal point of the offense, and everything that they want to try to do is still going to try to run through him. And I'm thinking about this game next week against the Steelers, and I while that might be true, and I do think Odell's – I mean, obviously, I love Odell, and I think he's probably one of the best wide receivers in the league, obviously. But I think in a divisional game against the Steelers, I think it's really going to be controlling the clock, running the ball, keep the ball away from each other. It's going to be I feel like it's going to be a low-scoring divisional game.
Yeah, I could see that.
Even though, like, the Browns' offense have been, like, going crazy the last 2 weeks. Yeah. But I think if they control the ball, keep it out of Big Ben, run it, again, that'll minimize Baker's mistakes anyways.
Yeah.
Let me make one more point here quick, too.
Yeah.
Whether it's Landry or Odell, whoever Joe Hayden is guard is just going to have a fucking field day. Literally going to have a field day. He's 97.
I could not disagree more.
Hayden Minka Fitzpatrick will shut down half the field, but Joe Hayden will just get torched repeatedly.
Toasted.
I think they're going to be picking on Mike Hilton after what happened from Fulgham yesterday.
And it's a good thing Higgins is playing now because he can be that third guy who can pick on him because he's solid, Yeah.
Well, we run a lot of zones, so it's actually not hard to pick. You could pick on him with anyone.
Right. Austin Hooper.
Yeah, you just bring somebody into the zone. You run somebody in motion, you see they're not in man coverage, and you're like, okay, whatever happens here, we're throwing it in his pocket. Because Mike Hilton, he's a great blitzing defensive back, and I love. He's a great part of our defense, but he really, really struggles in pass coverage. And so I think that they're going to get some mismatches because you guys have so many weapons. Even Kareem coming out of the backfield, like you said.
Yeah, he caught another touchdown pass this week.
There's so many guys that can make that play.
Yeah, Donovan Peoples-Jones.
I don't know if I'd include him. I don't know why is he back on punt return? Just because that's like a suicide mission?
Punts.
Oh, okay. Well, they got to have some relevant or remnants of the classic Browns.
Of Jabril.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, your boy, Chris Jabril.
Hey.
Playing pretty well. He was out this week, wasn't he?
He got back this week. He was back.
That's a big difference maker, I'm sure.
What are we thinking? What do the Steelers got to do to win this week?
Well, the Browns are obviously going to try to shut down Claypool, so it's probably going to be tough to get him as involved. I think Juju has to have a big game. We got to get pressure on Baker because he's a good quarterback when he gets out of the pocket, but you get pressure on him inside the pocket, and I think that's when turnovers happen. You get a hand in his face, or you get a hand on him, and he's got to rush a throw or force a throw. I think it'll be a battle of defensive lines, really. Like I said, the turnover margin is big for the Browns specifically, but I think that whoever gets the most pressure and is on the quarterback the most is probably going to have an edge because it probably will be a low-scoring game.
I agree, too. I think it'll be a battle in the trenches because both teams are pretty equal when it comes to talent. Both teams are pretty talented.
Yeah, they're talented on paper, both of them.
Right. It'll be the best test that either team's had this year, I think.
I agree. I think this is a heat check for both of us, and I say that with no sarcasm whatsoever. And
Right.
It's fucking blowing my mind
That the
that
Browns
the
are
Cleveland Browns are a heat check in 2020. It's mind
That's just
blown.
the most 2020 thing ever.
It really is. So let's talk a little bit of New York Football Giants. They had a showdown of NFC East proportions. Tell us a little bit about that, Chris.
Yeah, it was actually a pretty entertaining game, especially if you're a neutral fan, because it was two really shitty teams going at it, and they made it a really good game for
Right.
what it was. I thought, again, Giants came out. They looked good, honestly. They came out. They went up 17-3 like really early. The defense has been honestly above and beyond what I would have ever thought they were going to do this year. I still think that that's the strong point of the defense right now, or of the team, is the defense. There was, obviously Dak going down was probably the focal point of the entire game.
Yeah, I think that's overshadowing the game itself. As it should, it was a devastating injury
Yeah,
that
crazy.
Tony Romo said, we're all hoping that's just a cramp right
Cramp.
now.
Yeah.
And then it shows a shot of his ankle, and it's like that. You're like, Tony, I think it's a little more than a cramp, man. His ankle's hanging off of his leg.
Hey, Tony's doing the Browns Steelers game next week.
Good. I love
Big
Tony.
time.
So
I do too.
he's a friend
Go
of the
ahead,
show,
though, Chris.
too.
Yeah, big
Big friend of the show.
Friend of the show.
So, yes, like you said, Dak went out, and then you guys lost to Andy Dalton is basically what I'm gathering from that.
So, yeah, we did. And there were actually bright spots in this one, though. And I had about probably 4 minutes left in the game. I was thinking to myself, I was sitting there, I was like, man, this is a serious thought. Dead serious thought. I was sitting there, the Giants could win this freaking division. Like, the Giants could absolutely win this division. I'm sitting there like this, no Dak now. The Eagles are beatable.
Yep.
If, on a given day, they could split the series.
Yep.
And then Washington's beatable. I'm like, this division's so fucking bad. The Giants actually have a shot at this division. And then obviously we go down and we do Giants things, finally give up a big play to Gallup, 2 big plays to
And
Gallup,
they could still win the division.
and lose the game. But it's still, I'm sitting here like there's no Dak. The Dallas defense is horrible.
Andy Dalton better than Dak?
He's a serviceable backup.
He's a better backup than we have Colt McCoy sitting on the bench, so I'd rather have Andy
Ooh,
Dalton
get
than
Colt in
Colt.
there. Get Colt over Danny Dimes.
Well, a couple things I was upset about with this game though. So Danny Dimes still hasn't thrown a touchdown pass since week 1, but he got absolutely fucked out of the one to Slayton. It was a really tic-tac, like pick offensive pass interference call. But I loved Garrett's play calling all game. He had a great reverse call to Ingram to get the first touchdown. I was getting creative there. Joe Judge, former special teams coordinator, had an
Friend of the show.
unbelievable friend of the show also. Yep.
Big fan.
Had an unbelievable fake field goal call towards the end of the second half, and
That's his
it
specialty.
worked. And it worked. It was a beautiful pass,
Yeah.
and we had an illegal shift on the line. One of our fucking linemen didn't get his hands down. So that's 2 touchdowns I got called back in that game. That illegal shift was the right call. We didn't get set. Pass
Right.
interference was ticky-tacky. But that's 2 big plays there that could have swung that game heavily in the Giants' favor. And just in the end, they can't close out. And I think that's just kind of going to be what it is all year long. I think it's none of these games besides the 49ers have been horrible blowouts or anything. So it's the defense is, like I said, is keeping them in it, even though they let up 30 points because Jones had a typical fumble, scoop and score given up.
So what do you think was the biggest reason you guys lost that game?
Not being able to close out on offense. We had driving with less than 3 minutes to go with the tie game when our defense coming off a huge stop. And we can't move it down the field and get points to even put us in the lead, So it's
right.
I think that's the biggest issue for this team is the offense. We can't get to the red zone, so we can't produce in the red zone. Graham Gano is the team MVP by far, hit 3 over 50 yards. He looks insane. And
I have that in my notes. I have Graham Gano. I was waiting for the end to say Graham Gano is your best player by far.
He is, though, right? Like, he has to be.
Every field goal possible is what I wrote on here.
Dude, he did, though, and he looks great doing it. Like, they're right down – like, he's hitting piss missiles.
Yeah.
So Gettleman bringing in his former Carolina guys sometimes works out, sometimes it doesn't. But Bradbury and Gano this year have been two of our best players. I think Bradbury, if he's on any other team, he's getting recognition as one of the best corners in the league. He held Amari Cooper to 2 catches for 25 yards maybe. So he shut him down. He's been looking great, but. Yeah, we can't finish shit, man. It's Gano. I mean, we get down there and it's like Gano's warming up on the sideline.
If you get on their side of the 50, honestly, you shouldn't call another play. Just kick a field goal.
No, kick it. I said you shouldn't even wait until 4th down. Kick it on whatever down it is.
Yeah, first down. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Don't even call another play. You can turn it over maybe.
Right. I was gonna say the more plays we call, the more Danny Dimes fumbles we're gonna get.
Yes, so I think that it's a lot safer if you guys just kick everything from in 60.
Yeah.
Remember when you were pissed that they drafted Danny Dimes and not Haskins?
What were you saying?
Remember when you were pissed that they drafted Danny Dimes and not Haskins?
Dude, I was beyond pissed.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
maybe
there's a lot of bias.
You could still be pissed. You can still be a little pissed.
I think the jury is still out on that one. You might still be able to be pissed about that.
Oh, I agree.
The sample size we've got from Danny Dimes is not telling me.
I meant to send you guys a play though from the game, so you guys knew what I was talking about. He had a throw to Slayton down the sideline that was just an absolute dime.
Danny Dime.
Danny Dime. It was an absolute Danny Dime, and he flashes that a lot. Like he gets these throws where it's there, and then
just like Sam Darnold.
Yeah, just
Sam
like
Darnold sometimes does that.
Yeah, he does. I'm serious.
But you know who does that a lot? NFL backup quarterbacks do that a lot.
Yeah.
Like they flash brilliance.
Yeah. But, I think that might be telling us something.
I'm not buying it yet, and because you look at a lot of where these rookies this year that are sticking out are playing. Like Clyde Edwards-Helaire gets drafted to the fucking Chiefs, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, he is that good of a running back, but he's also playing on one of the most firepower offense. If he gets drafted to the Jets, he's putting up Le'Veon Bell type numbers. I guarantee it. Like. I'm not saying Daniel Jones would be excelling in a better offense. I'm just saying he's working with probably the worst offensive line in football. But
I agree.
Bagels probably.
He has no talent.
So this is my question for you then. Do you think that Joe Burrow has a better situation than Danny Dimes has?
I do.
Yeah, but
because he has Mixon, he has AJ Green, he has Tyler Boyd.
We'll get to AJ Green. Don't worry, we'll get to AJ Green.
Yeah. But
he has AJ Green. That means something because
2 years
you should
ago.
see my fantasy team.
I took him last year.
Big fucking mistake.
But both offensive line, they're probably the 2 worst offensive.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I think I'd actually give.
I think
there's
the
an edge. I'd
Bengals
actually maybe
have
give the Giants an edge.
line.
Like the Bengals is bad. Burrow was getting destroyed by Baltimore. I think he got sacked 7 times.
Yeah.
But that said, I do think cutting him off right now is just not fair. I think that.
Well, I don't think you cut him
not
off
that it needs
now.
to be fair in the NFL, but I saw a Giants writer after that game saying his job should be up in the air, and I'm like, what do you want him to do? I mean, yes, should he have more than 1 touchdown pass since week 1? Definitely, we should be scoring more. But he lost Barkley, he lost Shep again. He's got Golden Tate, who's 35, as his best slot receiver,
and just trying to fight everybody.
Yeah, Slayton's great, but you're going to probably double cover him because you're our only guy left. Ingram, I don't even know what to make of Ingram anymore. Every year is Ingram's breakout year, and it never happens. So I don't know. I'd give him more time before. And like I
Where's
said,
Jeremy Shockey when you need him,
no helmet.
Seriously.
Just get out there without a helmet on and just make a
He's
fucking
smoking
play.
weed somewhere.
Well, yeah.
But
Where's
like I
Justin
said,
Tucker?
about the Giants' schedule the week before or a couple weeks ago, we went through those first 4 games against some pretty tough teams, and now we're getting into this divisional play where we saw them lose by 3 to the Cowboys. We get Washington next week, and like I think that this is going to be more of like the true Giants. Like I think it's going to be close, shitty games now, and they might pull 1 or 2 out here along the way. But it's other than that 49ers game, which this is where I was going to say we're going to get to Miami. That just keeps looking worse and worse every time someone beats San Fran. Like Eagles go out and beat them, and then the next week they get fucking destroyed by the Dolphins.
They look terrible.
And I'm just sitting here like Nick Mullins blitzkrieg offense, man. And best part about Nick Mullins blitzkrieg offense is Beathard was the one that came in for Garoppolo. It wasn't even
CJ beat hard.
Ooh.
And I'm like, what the hell? So like we're over here getting smashed by Mullins, and he's not even coming in when Garoppolo goes down. Was Mullins hurt, or did they just choose?
No, they chose beat hard.
And that's even worse. So that just made.
Remember when they were in the Super Bowl last year? Remember that?
Barely. Faint memories of them.
Remember when they were leading by 20 in the Super Bowl?
In the fourth.
I bet they remember that.
And
so
that's why they suck now.
Moral of the story is Giants are going to have the first overall pick this coming year, and that's just the facts. They're going to get the first pick.
So who are they taking? Like, I feel like it's not a great year.
I think Jets. I think honestly, I think it's really going to be between them and the Jets because I think the Giants are going to win more divisional games than the Jets are. I don't think the Jets are going to beat the Dolphins, Bills, or Patriots. You know
Do the Jets have no wins right now?
The Jets
they're over as well. So I think it's going to come down to like 1 or 2 games, and I think the Giants have a better chance at grabbing a win or 2 in the division than the Jets do.
Both of you guys are on the same sinking ship.
It's going to be 1 and 2. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not like it's making much of a difference.
If they both go defeated, they don't play each other.
Yeah.
They should have the toilet bowl for the first pick.
How great of a game would that be?
Great.
No, actually, if they both go defeated, they shouldn't even get first round picks. Either one of them, they should be punished.
Strip them.
They should be relegated.
Yeah.
Send them to CFL and send up 2 teams from the CFL.
Dude, I texted
to the Arena League.
I texted someone yesterday and I said relegate them to the MAC. Giants. I was like, put the Giants in the fucking MAC and see if they can get. Hey, what's wrong with that?
Those MAC teams would beat the Giants.
Yeah, they would.
Yeah, but Giants would at least be competitive.
Yeah, they could put up a fight.
Jesus.
Not against BG though.
Right.
So the Giants have the Washington football team this week. Can they get it done this week, or are they going defeated?
If they can't beat Washington with Kyle Allen or one-legged Alex Smith, I'll really start to question if we can get to 2 wins even. Like I really will. They should win this weekend. They should.
So what do you cheer for when you watch the game? Like a first down? What's
Dude,
getting you juiced up?
This week it was a fucking touchdown. I hadn't seen a touchdown in 2 weeks. So we get in the end zone. Ingram gets in the end zone in the first quarter on that reverse, and I'm losing it. I'm like, we scored. Yeah. It wasn't fucking Gano.
Yeah, it's like the
Super Bowl. And then Gano
Bowl
comes out and piss missiles the extra point, so he still gets in on the action. But just a touch. Dude, I want something to look for on offense, and Washington. Dude, that defensive line is gonna destroy us though. So you know what I mean? Like Chase Young is probably gonna eat us alive.
Is he back to being healthy?
Yeah.
He was playing.
He played this week.
Yeah,
like, is he fully healthy though?
I
like,
don't know.
did he? Yeah, I don't know if because I didn't hear much about him this week. I didn't hear like he had a monster game or anything. So I don't know if he's really back to full speed. But he's going to be incredible. He'll probably be defensive rookie of the year
if he can stay healthy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's. Fingers crossed that he can because he's a fucking elite player. And I do love watching him play.
Who's going to win Rookie of the Year?
I mean, right now, Burrow is the favorite as far as odds go.
Yeah, the ball. He's got so much opportunity right now. And I don't think there's another quarterback.
He throws the ball 40 times a game. So Herbert
I was going to say it's going to
slowly climbing. So I think it's between, one of them.
Herbert plays tonight though, so we'll see what he does against the Saints because that'd be a big game for him because Burrow.
Don't the Saints suck
couldn't
dick though?
Yes. And they benched Mike Thomas. They completely
They
benched him.
benched can't guard
Benched him.
Mike.
Benched him.
Yeah, he got in some fight with some personnel, like in the locker room, and they benched him.
Said you're not playing.
Oh well, they're gonna lose for sure because Drew
Yeah,
Brees
they'll
has literally a deflated arm.
Yeah. Well,
He's
he
a
just
deflated
dumped
arm
off to
and-
Kamara
and
35 times.
75-year-old Emmanuel Sanders in the flat.
Who Steelers
Are-
found him late in the draft too.
Should Emmanuel Sanders and Golden Tate both are they both that same type of?
Well, they're the
slot
same guy.
receiver?
They're
That-
literally
like
the
they
same
are
guy,
the same
different
player.
name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking about. That's what I was
Same
thinking
guy,
about.
different name.
And they just need
Yeah.
to probably just
And they give you one game a year where they have 205 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns,
on
Yeah.
and then do
like
nothing else.
on 17 receptions out of the slot. Like it's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
slant
Just
after
ridiculous.
slant.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
4 different teams in the same season.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. All of that.
Yeah, they're the same guy, different name.
Yeah.
So we had a topic suggestion from one of our thousands of Patreon supporters. So thank you. I don't remember your name. Might have been Hooter, Poot, or something like that. He wanted us to talk about fantasy football again. Who's killing it for us? Who's really choking? I'll start. I started the season with a win. I was 1-0, and I have since dropped every game since then. It's been tough because I've been losing by small margins, but I think what's really killed me is hedging my bets on Deontay Johnson and going against how I really feel and starting him because I need those points. AJ Green doesn't get it done. I benched him after week 2. Like he just doesn't get the type of targets in that Bengals offense. I don't know what it is, but he doesn't give a fuck. Like he was like walking off the. I did see a couple clips of him just like walking off the field right after a play. Like he doesn't care. He's kind of over it. He knows the Bengals.
Well, you got to
will,
remember
they're
too,
probably not gonna win.
Joe Burrow's white, so he only throws to tight ends.
That's true. Well, yeah, the safety blankets as we call them.
Yeah, the safety blanket.
the safety
The
blankets.
Bafety slankets.
Yeah, the safety blankets. So what's really screwed me is I spent a fairly high draft pick on AJ Green, and there was so many other places that I could have went with that would have helped. My receivers are killing me right now. Mike Evans has stepped up. I didn't know if he was going to be as effective with Tom Brady because, Tom Brady also likes to throw it to small slot white receivers and tight ends. That's just the name of the game, and running backs. And he's not usually, a receiver dominant quarterback. But Evans had got like 15 points easy every game, sometimes up to 20, 25 points. So he's played really well. And the Buccaneers defense has been killing it for me. They had a game where they had 24 points. They had another game where they had 18 points. So I've pretty much put them up against whoever they're going to play. I'm pretty confident in their defense. It's been
I
tough for
won
you,
week
AJ?
2, and I've lost every other game. And I've said if
And how much
my
did you win
fan-
week 2 by?
like 0.02 points. If
Sorry, what was that?
Was
What
it? I
was
beat
that?
Chris. I beat Chris by 0.2 of a point.
Yep.
But I've been saying this all year. If my fantasy team has to die for the Browns to be good, I'm on board.
Yep.
I'll pay $100 every year to be in the fantasy league, come in 8th, and watch the Browns go 10-6. I'm on
Yep.
board. Because
So where do those two things cross? Why are why?
I don't know, because I drafted 5 Browns this year.
That's what
and
I'm
they're
saying.
good.
Shouldn't that be like
don't
a
get it.
positive for your team?
I don't get it. I did cut Baker this week and picked up Jared Goff, and then started Jackson over Jared Goff, while Goff gave me 26 on my bench and Jackson gave me 14. Lamar Jackson has just been terrible.
Yeah,
He's
he
just
hasn't.
been awful.
Hasn't been good.
Yeah, he hasn't been playing up to his standard.
And my team is absolutely loaded, and I just can't get any production out of them. Like they're
I
all
could not
really
agree
good.
more. I could not agree more. I have Mahomes starting at quarterback who's gotten me big points, but any Mahomes-led fantasy team should never fucking lose because all you
Yeah,
need is
yeah.
like 10 points from everybody else and you
Everybody else, yeah.
because he's going to get you 40.
Yep.
It's like LeBron.
Yeah, it is. He's the LeBron of fantasy football. So
I agree with that.
those are my MVPs of the season so far. And Todd Gurley, he's helped me out. He's a little inconsistent every now and again, but he'll put up big points. He put up big points this week.
He
So.
butt fucked me this week. Oh, Chris, you're 1-3 too. Now that I'm looking at it,
Yes, sir.
So we all have the
third
same
in
record.
Points for. Looks like third in
So-
points for, but in 7th place.
Yeah, how do you like that? That's how my season's going. Is I absolutely. Yeah, I've got the third most points in the league and the second most against in the league. So it's one of those
Mhm.
fantasy seasons for me.
Classic.
And then on top of that, so this is in my league with AJ. Excuse me, getting all phlegmy on us here.
Flemmy on us.
Getting
Uh,
Steve-O Flemster.
My other league, I'm actually doing really well in, but I don't care about that league as much. So kind of disappointing. But this league, the one with AJ, yeah, I've been putting up a bunch of points. My team isn't anything crazy, but then this week just absolutely murdered me. I had Dak, who was putting 40 points up a game, and then obviously lost his ankle in a car accident.
Damn near. Lost his ankle to the Dirty Giants.
I had Austin Eckler, who last week got hurt. I had Dalvin Cook, who this week got hurt, but I do have Madison handcuffed. So he ran for 112 yards on 20 carries. So I'm not too worried about that. I would rather obviously have Cook in there, but I'm falling off from there. DJ Moore looked good finally. I think Kenny Galladay is going to be good when he's back from bye week. Biggest story for the week this week. So I'm going to lose. I'm going to go to 1-4 unless Alvin Kamara decides not to play tonight. But
I've already counted this week as a loss for me. I'm down 15 points, and this guy's got somebody playing tonight. It's over.
I'm up 8. We'll see what you guys think about this. I think I'm done for, and the projections are not in my favor either. But I'm up 8 points. I've got Josh Kelly going tonight over because Eckler's hurt, which sucks because I think Justin Jackson's actually going to get a lot of the carries. He's available, AJ, if you want another running back, by the way.
I do need a running back.
I just don't have
collusion.
I just don't have room for him. And then he's got Kamara and Jared Cook. So there's no way I keep that 8-point lead with Kelly against Kamara.
You could pretty much write that one off.
But biggest story for me this week, as soon as Dak went down, I got a text from someone in our league, shout out Mitch Griff, to make a trade. And I had Myles Gaskins, who I've never played. I picked him up forever ago, and I got offered Aaron Rodgers and Le'Veon Bell for Myles Gaskins. And I was like,
what?
Yeah. So I took that in a heartbeat. So now I have Rodgers instead of Prescott, so I'm not actually upset about it.
Is Le'Veon Bell playing?
He somehow upgraded.
I upgraded because I didn't really need gas. Well, I might actually need Gaskins next week because we'll see. But no, Le'Veon Bell is absolutely terrible. In my head, I was like, maybe he's going to be serviceable.
I thought he was going to opt out of the season. I thought that's what I heard at the start of the season.
He looks terrible. He was hurt games 2, 3, and 4. Came back this week, put up a fucking dud of a 7. Week 1, he only had 5. So he went out.
So his talent really came just from Pittsburgh. We were the only reason he was
system running back.
Yep.
But he paved the way for the running backs to get paid. It's like all he cares about now. It's like no, you're just salty that
using that as a cop out because he's not doing shit now.
Right. So I got Aaron Rodgers now instead of Dak, which is fine. But
yeah, so would you say Dak was probably your MVP of the season so far coming in?
And it wasn't even close. He had, I think, 4 straight weeks of 450 plus yards passing. Like he was destroying. He had 1 week with like 3 rushing touchdowns, and that was huge. So yeah, he was definitely. And then Cook too. Dalvin Cook has been incredible. I'd say those two, and then a sleeper shout out to Rodrigo Blankenship, goggles kicking.
Ooh,
yes,
hasn't missed yet. 10 for 10.
Yeah, he's killing it.
Highest scorer in the league. Highest point scorer in the league this season so far.
Yeah, he had 42 points coming into this week or something.
Yeah, and you know what? After week 2, I dropped. So going into the season, like kicker rankings on fantasy draft boards are so fucking irrelevant. But Prater was number 3, so I drafted him in like the last round just because I was like, oh, Prater's there. I'll grab him. He's ranked number 3. Yeah, I dropped him after week 2, and it's been a great call.
Rodrigo.
Lions suck, and Rodrigo is just goggles has just been pissing all over the field.
The only thing that ever matters, the only thing that's ever accurate about kicker rankings is Justin Tucker being number 1 every year.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
He's a lock. You could take him like in the first 5 rounds, and it's not a bad pick.
Right.
No, because he's a consistent 10 or so points. So he's if you're gonna sweat over like this week, I was sweating in my flex. I was sweating Michael Gallup or David Montgomery, and I started Gallup, and Gallup got me 9.3. Right.
Yeah.
Well, Blankenship got me 11.
Yeah.
So what round did I take Gallup in? Probably like.
Why can't we put kickers in the flex?
Yeah, that is kind of fucked up.
Phil
Next year,
Dawson
good.
would have been the most legendary flex of all time.
Oof. Kickers and quarterbacks in the flex next year.
All right, so we have a new segment, which is going to be a recurring segment here on Over the Line called Big Baller Bro. And so I'll just start us off. My Big Baller Bro of the week was me, because I completely predicted the Chase Claypool. I knew what was going to happen. I knew he was the guy to target. I'm basically due all the credit that he got from this game should be bestowed upon me as well. I've been screaming his name from the mountaintops. And all it took was a Deontay Johnson injury for me to show that my prediction was correct. I am my Big Baller Bro of the week.
Love that.
I like that too.
You do
think
deserve
he could
that.
have gotten? Do you think he could? Yeah, you do deserve. Do you think he could have gotten inspired by Notre Dame's just absolute shellacking of Florida State this week?
Well, he's a friend of the show,
Yeah.
and I think that he heard, what I've been saying.
Right.
And
That's
he-
gassing him up a little bit.
He talked to Ben, and he was like, "Yo, get me going." You know what I'm saying? Get me going.
Right.
And they got him going.
That's true. That's a good point. I like that. I like that a lot.
Thank you.
Why not make it yourself on the inaugural segment?
Yeah.
You know what? I think I earned Big Baller Bro of the week.
Swing her around.
So my big baller, bro. Let me preface this by saying, when did we stop hating guys just because they play for the worst teams? Like, when do we stop hating guys because they play for teams that we hate, right?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's kind of gone away. Like,
Mhm.
he plays for, he plays for the
Are we
Steelers. And I
soft?
like it. You know
Are
what I
we
mean?
soft?
We gone soft.
Yeah, we were getting a little soft.
Boys, is it gay to hate teams?
Wow. I think it is.
Anyway, my big baller bro of the week is Logan Ryan for absolutely destroying Dak Prescott's ankle.
Wow.
'Cause
Yeah.
fuck the Cowboys, fuck Jake Overman, and fuck Dak Prescott.
Oh my God! Wow, for the first Big Baller
Logan
Bro of the
Ryan.
week. Wow.
A Joe Judge specialty from that Patriots defense brings him over. And
I didn't want to
shatters
mention
that
how
dog.
dirty that play was, but
dirty.
that was dirty. The Giants are a dirty fucking team.
My ass.
That's good
Okay.
though, because
Okay,
in a couple of
Steelers.
years from now, they'll just hit hard. That's what we'll
Yeah,
say about
right,
him.
Yeah,
You know.
bro. Crafty.
So Logan Ryan gets my shout out. Also, big friend of the show, Logan Ryan.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow. So maybe you
Wasn't
had
before
something to
yesterday,
do
but
with
now
Is
that.
absolutely married to Bianca's old roommate's best friend.
What?
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show. Logan Ryan.
Friend of the
You
show.
know,
Shout out
we'll
to
reach
Mr.
out in
and Mrs.
Olive
Ryan.
Branch. Yeah. Shout out to the
Never
Ryans.
met that friend or obviously Logan Ryan, but yeah, there is a friend of the show connection in that one.
Big friend of the show. All right, Chris, why don't you tell us who your Big Baller Bro of the week is?
Same game. Big baller bro of the week is big boy Andrew Thomas, the rookie, catching a nice 2-point conversion.
Wow.
from Danny
One for the
Dimes.
hog up
And just
front.
wide open and just bobbled the shit out of it and barely secured the damn thing.
Oh, my. You got to
But-
love getting the
but-
big boys involved.
Get the
Oh, you
big
really
boy
do.
in, get
Nothing
him
gets
2
me more
points,
fired up than getting the
Yeah.
big boys
and
involved.
then
That's a
lose
great
by
one.
3. So it didn't matter anyway.
But you gotta give them something to cheer about. You gotta give them something to get them going for next week because they're just
Oh,
gonna
the
they're just
favorite
gonna
one.
keep getting abused.
Yeah, he's been great.
Right.
I've enjoyed some sort of decency on the line. So get him more involved in the offense. He has
have
more
them running
points than-
routes.
He has more points than half the actual playmakers on the offense now this year. So fucking
Why not-
Get him in the
Why not?
Wildcat.
Yeah,
Get him
get
in the
him in the
Wildcat.
Wildcat.
Get him in the
He'll look
Wildcat,
like
direct snap him.
Auburn's tight end that
Yeah,
was
yeah.
in the Wildcat.
That was sweet though.
250-pound tight. That
Yeah.
would have been a good big baller bro of the week as
Yeah,
well.
that's true.
He'll
That's
get
true.
my honorable mention to piggyback off Chris. I'll give it to Auburn's tight end quarterback that's 260 pounds. And I think we need to bring that back is the big boys in the backfield.
Yeah,
Ooh, can we do
Line him up at-
big
fullback.
boy of the week too, where like a big man makes a
Big
play?
boy of the week. Right? Chris would have just had a twofer right there on that one.
Ooh, the old 2
That's
for
a
1.
big baller boy.
Ooh.
All right. Well,
All
that's
right,
all
boys,
for
well,
us for episode 4.
Yep.
We had a good
been
one.
another
It's
great
rivalry week.
Yep, that's
So
right.
it's going to be a tense week in the group chat. And next week, we will rename the group chat. It will no longer honor Joe Judge. So
can't
maybe we'll
at
take a
this point.
suggestion from one of the thousands and thousands of Patreon
Millions at
subscribers
this
we
point,
have
hundreds of thousands.
of what our new group
Yep.
chat should be, and it can't be anything to do with the 0-16 New York Giants. That's all for us this week, folks.
The Week 5 0-16 Giants.
And that's all she wrote.